Okay, so, well, let's have a Cattenburg about Cattenburg and see where we're at then, dude.
Yes, so I don't know where we left off actually.
Yeah, that's that's a point. I'll have a little quick peep at the last Cattenburg video we posted. Give me a sec. Fragwood. That's a good video to look back at. He's a good boy. Oh yeah, we got to keep an ear out for that. I guess that'll be this Thursday. I think that'll
Is
be the
it?
epic
Yeah,
stream.
maybe.
They stream Thursday, so I assume it is. I heard it was end of October or whatever that they're doing something.
It's
So.
impressive that it's even after LD release.
Yeah, 2 months. But hopefully that means that they at least tried most of the games at least. So right, so what I did in the last update 12, which was back in September, I think, was the newly implemented notice board allowing adventurers to select a mission and enter a procedurally generated map. We also looked at the royal missions, which were the designer-created maps.
That was way before, I believe.
Yeah. I think. Let me just double check that was the last one we did.
Because then we talked about the healer and the training grounds and the guild house.
Oh no, that wasn't the most up-to-date one. Hold on. I was wrong. There's been an update 13 as well. Okay. This time we walk through the newly implemented tavern, one of the buildings you can interact with between missions. We also discussed the other buildings that will make up the town and set out a plan to implement them. Also, we debugged. We did some debugging to fix an issue that had been crashing the game.
Yes, you fixed it.
Well, I think we just looked at it, really, didn't we? But yes, okay, cool. So you'd done the tavern. That's what I do remember, that we were having a look at that. There was the recruitment sort of concept in there.
The tavern, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
The tavern. So yeah, I guess. Well, however, if you've got any push-in kind of things you want to discuss, we can just start going through them. But if you want to just give a quick overview of what is functional, that could be a good start point, I guess.
So I guess after that, I added the healer.
Nice. Okay. Oh, look at that cute bed.
Yeah, it is kind of functional.
Yeah.
So
No, that's great.
Switch characters.
I love the bard's face.
and then.
So, does it actually do anything as well, or no?
Yes, it does do.
So you put them in a bed, and the idea is that is it like when you're next on an adventure, it would heal them, or?
Yes. After your next return,
yeah,
they're healed, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
This works the same way, and it has the same UI.
Yeah, hey, why not, man? Why not? It's all good. The different icon is what they're currently doing, right? So that means that they're healing at the moment, I guess. Yes. Is the heart, and the bed is they're in the hotel, or whatever it is.
So I also implemented this. You select this, and then this is empty now.
Oh, it moves them from one to the other, basically, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I guess in long-term polish, we say, oh, this will remove them from here, or something like that. Right now, we don't need to.
Yeah, sure. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Good idea. Yeah, I don't have the upgrades for these because we didn't talk about
those. No, that's not a problem. So this is building upgrades we're talking, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Okay, in the tavern now, not in the tavern, everywhere we have this pop-up.
Okay, which will show what they.
Oh, we have the skill tree, of
course.
course.
Yeah. I remember us talking about the skill tree, but we haven't had a catch up over it. Okay, so now what it does is it shows what the is that like a current and max, is it?
Oh, I crashed it. I forgot about this. Sorry.
It's all good, dude. So on that screen we had like 3 out of 3, whatever. So is that just for debugging, or was that a concept that we want to show, like what their stats are relative to what they could be?
3 out of 3. You mean the attributes of the character?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we will probably have l- loader bars or whatever, radial ones, maybe. I don't know. Instead of 3 out of 3.
Yeah, so I'm trying
Maybe.
like for the health, it makes sense. For the others, I think I get where you're coming from. Are you thinking like a role that that?
Sorry. I actually removed these, and only vitality was like this. Then
Yeah.
I brought them back because in game I was confused about something, and I wanted to see these again.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Because we could make it that you might happen to get a good thief that has
Hmm.
8 instead of 7. But I think maybe for now, I don't know if we should prioritize that because
Well,
the
in my known bugs list, I have
yeah.
thief had 8 luck. I hired it from the tavern, so I had this bug.
You've implemented it somehow already. That's great.
I don't know how it happened yet.
Yeah.
I'll see.
Okay. So yeah. I think my gut feel on the like recruitments would be that their special ultimates and trinkets and talents is what would vary, but their base stats would not. Unless we implement the ability to increase your base stats in game, like like your luck and all of that sort of stuff, then we can talk about it, I guess.
Wait. Sorry. Okay. Just a lucky roll. So I also implemented that these come. Actually, maybe I can showcase that. So G is the key for gold cheat.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Go, just think so. We'll see more characters here next time.
Okay.
So if I real
Those paws, scratch marks too.
I removed the stupid scroll thing, mouse
Oh,
scroll.
yeah, on the edge of the screen. Did it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It
So
didn't.
you do right click to scroll.
Can you still WSAD around, or was that never a thing? I can't remember.
No, you cannot.
Okay.
I
Okay.
can add that
Yeah.
to
It doesn't matter right now, dude. It's all good.
quit and tavern. Yeah. See. So we have 4 level priest here, 3 level mage.
Okay. Yeah. And that's going to influence how far into the talent tree it is, it?
Yes.
Oh,
Let's click.
that must have taken a bit of work. Nice.
So it's already leveled some skills.
Mm-hmm. So it's got the plus luck, and then -1 power, but +2 luck, and
Yes.
then but then they
3
went into the
vitality.
start of the other tree. Yeah, cool. And if I remember, with could have they just the way we did those talent trees, they could
Mm-hmm.
have in this one, for example, the bottom line. If we follow that along, they could have. So the first one, the bottom left, extrovert, and then wisdom. They could have gone up to those two,
Yes.
right, without needing the middle first one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
That's true. I just want to make sure that I remember how we set this up. And then the lines represent how many points you need to go up, right? So it's like 1 skill point for the 1 line, and 2 for the 2 line, and 3 for the 3 line, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, cool. That's no problem. Okay, so they already have
um,
their points spent here. Yeah, I can see 4 points spent.
I don't. Yes. So all spent here,
Mm-hmm.
and if you if they're leveled up, after you uh purchase them from the tavern, yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
can do it by yourself.
So is there when you say that, would you get some that would not have fully spent their points, or do you mean if they just level
I
up
don't
again?
know. I don't know. I didn't think about it.
Yeah, I think it's probably the benefit of leveling one up yourself is that you have the full control over it,
Yeah.
and like these are the catch up mechanics, the higher level ones, right?
Yeah, I
In a
mean
sense.
I like that it adds some RNG
Yes, yeah,
to
for
it.
sure. I would. My gut feel is to avoid giving just skill points to spend on new recruits. The
Yes.
one point I wanted to point out is this one's level 4 and has 4 skill points invested. Are we thinking that on level 1 you have a skill point to spend, or is that just an oversight?
I so this one has luck already given.
Yeah, yeah. So in your original characters you start off with, would they just start with 1 skill point unspent then?
I don't remember actually. No, they don't.
Yeah, so
I
I
can.
guess we'd need to alter the formula just to be like -1 to their level or something. So
No, we can also make them start with one. That's no problem again.
yeah, I don't see a terrible thing to it. It might make the player feel better that they can do something at the start.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, they can start with a skill point
Yeah.
left
Okay.
missing.
Okay. Yeah. I just wanted it to be consistent. I don't particularly mind which way, as long as it makes sense both ways. So yeah, that sounds good.
Also, maybe we can start the game right from the map, actually, not the base. And then when they get back to base, they realize they have some characters leveled up, so they can spend the points.
Right. Okay. Like almost like the introduction quest sort of thing would be where they
Yeah.
start, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. We could even do like a yeah. Yeah. We could do like a custom. Like I'm trying to think of story, like of why they need to get to the town and then they need to set up their
Don't think
operations
about the
there or
story
whatever.
yet. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay. So
so
the guild house has the upgrades as well in here, right?
yeah, so actually in here I expected it to work, but it crashed. So I will show you from here. So I have these as well.
Oh, nice.
You can
Okay.
you can change the skills from here. The cards
These are
look
the ones
the
that
same.
you've got, right?
Yeah.
These are your characters right now, so you can change it from any point.
Yeah, sadly we don't have enough cards.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's
We
okay.
cannot
That's okay.
showcase.
Um, it'd probably be good at one point to make a few debug commands that we could use, just via the console, like the little tilde key thing, just to give gold or give us a random selection of cards or give all the cards even. It'll help
Yeah,
you
makes
testing
sense.
in future. But on that, the one you said that crashed in the guild thing. So what would happen if you clicked on it here? Because could they have multiple specials and ultimates? Is that the idea?
Yes.
Because
Actually,
I'm imagining a recruit would just come with what they've got, right? They wouldn't have an inventory with them.
You got cut off. Sorry, I didn't hear.
Oh, sorry, dude. Yeah, it says my connection's gone a bit bad. Not too sure why. Okay. I was just saying on the recruit screen. Realistically, I would expect them to come with maybe a special ultimate and maybe a trinket, but I wouldn't expect them to come with a spear special or a spear ultimate too. Did you have a different view, or I'm just trying to think what would happen if you clicked on that special that you were trying to show earlier?
Yeah. Well, this view is actually used in game as well. Like when you right click on any character, it
Right. Yeah.
brings up this. So yeah, that's why that was reflex to click on it, and then it highlights it. So
Right. Okay.
maybe
Okay.
we shouldn't have that.
We can show them, yeah, but maybe it's just we'd have an option to disable the clickability of them or something
True.
on this.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to make sure whether you or it could have been a design thought you had that they come with a kit, but I probably prefer it. You don't have to click on multiple things to see.
So I do think that they could come with different specials and ultimates.
Can you be more
The
specific?
characters, like this priest has something else as a special, and this has holy touch.
Yes, 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
I just mean like per individual, they not come in with like 3 specials and 4 ultimates.
No, of course.
That they just come with the one. Yeah, because otherwise you'd bring them on just to get their cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do like the idea of that though. Sometimes you might get a crap
Let
priest.
me note this down actually. Sorry. Tavern character profiles shouldn't have clickable special cards, whatever. Yeah. Good enough for me to understand the sentence. Okay. Well, I have some minor fixes in game. Nothing too fancy. I guess that's about it.
Yeah, yeah, okay. No, it's cool though. It's lots of cool stuff. I like how these menus are looking. because it gives you the idea of all of so many things we didn't both think of when you started going, oh yeah, we'll have a menu that does this, and then we got to start working out what would be on display, what buttons we got to do, we've got to give a player a way to see this information to make good choices. So
And here as well, I guess. Let's see. Yeah.
nice. Okay, yeah,
So I can use it everywhere.
yeah.
That's nice.
That's been helpful. It is nice to actually have consistent UI for it as well, right?
Yes.
And it means you only have to keep one up to date.
Yeah. This bit
Yeah.
is annoying me. Like, you purchase new characters from the tavern, or in game you recruit them in the map. I mean, with the campaign, and yeah, this here it's bugged often. I have to fix that. Also, like when I do this, go here. Okay, this worked, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I
Oh,
see
if
a
you took
bard
someone
here.
out of a party, is it?
Yeah, and if you recruited someone, then they show up, but then it says Bard here, but with -1 attributes. I don't know
Oh,
why.
right. Yeah. That's
We'll
weird.
see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I thought I fixed it because I made some changes to fix it, but
It still
yeah.
sometimes happens, is it?
So I started with only 2 characters now.
Okay.
Oh, I also simplified some levels. They are smaller maps now.
Oh, yeah, we did say before that they were huge, weren't they? Can I ask you to
Yeah.
pause just one sec, dude? I'll be back in just one moment.
Sure.
Hello. So I'm
Hello, YouTube.
okay. We have returned. Sorry, Alicia came in. She did say hi, but I muted you by then. But she didn't know I was chatting to your recording. So sorry.
Well, we had a long conversation with her, anyways.
Yes.
Today.
Yes. I did go down and she said, "Oh, I was talking to Bora." Anyway, right. Okay. So you're saying you started one with 2, right? And we now have smaller maps. You were saying too.
Yes, and I was going to say, the map size is hard coded. Looking at your reputation, like, points, I guess, or something
Okay.
like that.
Okay. What, like the amount of nodes you mean, sort of thing, is it?
Yeah, then it gets bigger, and you see more hard enemies. Here you can see there's no hard enemies, only medium ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if I want to showcase to oh, what is this? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, is it because you've got an empty character slot, the second one, and it chose that maybe?
Yeah, to hero party. Also, this is weird. Wait, this is an unlucky generation.
Well, how close I did notice how close they were, but
No, but this is the quest thing. This is where we want to go.
where's it connected though?
I mean, you talk to this guy.
Oh, right, and then
Where
he,
are the bandits? Mark quest location.
oh, and then he gives you the nice
It was right next to it. Are you blind?
complete the quest.
Okay.
Complete the quest. It's like the old man's got poor vision. It's fine.
Wait, why doesn't it go?
Hmm.
The acceptance radius. Maybe.
Oh, for the traveling. Yeah, that would make sense. Okay, that's all good. Let's let's carry on with what you're going to show anyway, I guess.
Yeah, sure. Um, well, I'm pretty sure I showed everything except right click, and we see this here as well.
Yeah. Are we allowing changing at this point, or?
No, we don't.
Okay, so
We
that'd be
shouldn't.
another use for us to have that kind of.
I mean, at the moment, I think we're allowing, but we shouldn't.
Yeah. But like we said earlier, we that's that screen on recruitment where we wouldn't want you to be able to go into that menu.
Yeah. Also, we still have this screen.
Yeah, that's
You
fine.
see.
Oh,
And
the
I
-1
think,
bard stats. I see. Yeah.
though yeah, preventing them to change anything there, and maybe having some nodes that you can change your deck.
Ah,
Um,
okay. Yeah. That could be a
meaning
good
like,
idea. Yeah, what you don't want is to do it like mid combat. But if we have certain nodes that you could, like the campfire, if you burn a fire, you can change your loadout or whatever.
yeah,
It doesn't have to be that specific. It's just as an example, something you interact with that you consume, maybe.
yeah,
Um,
and for the deck itself, maybe another node I was thinking, but maybe a campfire is what it is for. Mm. Um, I mean, by deck, the normal cards
oh,
in the
right.
party.
Hang on. No. Say that again to make sure I'm understanding you.
Slot cards, the action cards, whatever. They're on the ones that are on the board.
But what about
Uh,
them? Sorry.
so we have this. Sure. This thing.
Yeah.
So we cannot change. We remove them here.
Right. Oh, but we can also change those at that same node. You mean?
Yeah,
Right.
maybe in the campfire as well.
Yeah. I think it should probably be something you wouldn't want that often, or maybe you need to buy an item that you can use at a campfire to do that, or something like that.
Yeah, we'll get there. Maybe
Yeah.
not
We don't
not
need to
today. I'm
decide.
not sure, but yeah, we need to talk about. We need to have a serious talk about the inventory.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is it. So you said you wanted to have a shorter talk today, I guess. But I have.
No, yeah. Just run through your questions, and we'll see how time goes.
Yeah, I have these questions.
That's fine. Let's
Uh,
start from the top. Then it's the best place to start.
yeah, maybe, but maybe I should have categorized them as in like healer is implemented already, but I have some questions after.
Okay.
But
Okay. You start
Smith,
wherever
we
you
have
want.
this
Then
thing.
it's up to you, dude. It's up to you.
Well, let's start from top. I don't know how to organize them at the moment, so sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, so actually, lots of things are dependent on the inventory here. So let's go over the questions and try not to answer them in like going into too deep detail.
Okay. Yeah, I will say like gut feels maybe, and then we can come back to them after we've looked at everything. Then.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. So smithing and card merging, and yeah, the
So,
smith.
yeah, so there was two aspects to this, wasn't there? One was a way to kind of make cards you've already got still seem interesting when you get like duplicates or whatever, because you can upgrade them. There was also talks of this blueprint system where you need to craft. You need to. Was that to craft new cards out of resources? I can't remember.
Yeah,
So
depending on the archetypes, we were thinking like we could have different resources for the
yeah,
like yeah, aligning with the archetypes.
so there's two different things there. One is a way of upgrading a card, which is purely based on having duplicates of it. We could also add a cost to it of resource if we have resources.
Yeah.
And then the second one is purely a blueprint resource system, which doesn't particularly rely on other cards, and that'd be to like craft an original new one or whatever. But they could merge into the same system. To be honest with you, it just might happen to be that in order to upgrade a card, you need resources plus two of the original or whatever it be.
Wasn't really imagining like two different scenarios. Like we need to pick one. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think we can merge them.
the latter being that. Yeah, okay, yeah. It was more of two kind of concepts, I guess, that have been didn't have to be combined, but they could be combined.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
and also another approach, not approach, but another thing we can do here is the scrapping. Also, is a way of making use of the replicates.
yes.
So
Yeah, to give you resources to build. Yeah, so that's a good point. Even if you don't want to upgrade that card, you can scrap it, and that allows you to get the resources to build the cards you do want.
yeah, maybe the scrapping is also done smith or
Yeah, yeah. I like the loose idea of like certain cards because what you don't want it's difficult. You basically want to give players a choice to not feel crap about the cards that they're dealt, but you also don't want to make it that every time you play the game you can make the cards exactly that you want easily, because then someone would play the game the same way every time regardless of what cards they get. They'll just sell it and then make the cards they want. So I think it might be worth thinking about it as like some of these recipes might end up needing something that's not easy to obtain. So maybe there'll be like nodes on maps where like a rare resource salesperson or something like that where you can pick up, let's say, like a yellow diamond, and this yellow diamond is used to make one of the like key warrior cards or something like that.
yeah. I just thought about it, so I added card leveling as well. So cards will have levels.
Yeah, so what is this, like the tier 1 versions, do you mean, like as in,
Tiers, card tiering.
because we talked about that with True Strike, didn't we?
Yes.
See, would that be through upgrading a card?
Yes.
But, sorry, what I mean by that is, wouldn't that just be like crafting? Would you just craft the next level one rather than actually like leveling it up itself?
I mean, most games call it enhancing or something, right?
Yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of like, would it be a separate system or would it just be part of that resource inventory system where we have, um, you can make True Strike level 1 having these XYZ materials, but you can make True Strike level 2 by having True Strike level 1, like 3 copies of it, say, plus XYZ materials or ABC materials. And then so like, does it become part of just the crafting system that it's just like a recipe to improve it? Or is it a separate thing where you choose a particular card to make a strong version of?
So yeah,
Because
I
they
don't
have
know
like the
yet.
plus in Slay the Spire, right? You can
Yeah,
improve it, and then it becomes like Hemorrhage Plus, which is just like a better version of it, but it doesn't go through multiple tiers.
yeah. Maybe cards could have more than one recipe, like one for the actual recipe and the other is the merging one. Like you
Right.
have three True Strike
Yeah, yeah, I
and
see what you're saying. That would be an
then some
interesting one.
resources, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Plus some resources. But maybe less resources
Yeah,
than the actual recipe.
yeah. The fine details need to be thought of there, don't they?
Yeah, we don't need to decide on this one yet.
Okay.
Good to think about it. I think card merging is not a priority, really. I don't think so.
Yeah, I think the positive we can take from that is we mostly agree on that, right? The only thing you didn't touch on there is what upgrades does the building have?
Yeah, I don't hate the idea, and I see some potential and possibilities in it. Yeah, that we can explore. I see that it's not solid yet, but
Yeah, yeah. It's the main purpose of it is to, if we're making an RNG game, the experience is going to be RNG too. We want to try and not make the experience RNG, like how the player feels about a go, right? So
yeah. Sorry, I gotta
no, that's okay, mate.
do not disturb. Hey. Um, yeah, let's move on. I
Yeah,
guess for now. All right.
sounds good.
The caravan.
So the caravan was basically what we're taking with us out on an adventure, right?
Yes.
and the physical thing we travel in, and we talked about how that could have different kind of stats effectively to control your efficiency of traveling, how many things you can carry, and potentially as a end mission kind of condition as well, I guess. So questions you've got here then: does it have integrity? Can it go faster or slower depending on some mechanics? Would it be fun to have a repair caravan mechanic? Okay, cool.
We have the inventory on the caravan as well.
Yes, yeah. So the way I saw the caravan stuff before, on a very base level, it is purely a way for you to, like, before you go out, you need to plan a bit, because I think that's one of the nice things about that you see in Darkest Dungeon, right? Is that there's that element of you plan before you go out, you take stuff with you, and you can accumulate new stuff as well, but you don't just collect everything. You've got to prioritize stuff.
Yeah.
And that inventory management is a little tedious, so I'm not aiming for exactly the same, but it adds a little layer of strategy to, like, the non-card game playing, you know? So I think that would be the key mechanic. The other stuff was just like ideas that we were throwing around before. I quite like, since we've discussed the idea of, like, time passing and that things happen when it gets dark, right? That the enemies all change. We've already got something in there, right? For, like, after nightfall, that every turn there's a chance that a node turns into it. I can't remember if you did that or not.
Yes, I did it.
Yes, I thought so. Okay, cool. So because there's a time thing to the game, I do think that having, like, the fast and slower could be potentially interesting. You could a really horrible idea that sounds like, oh, that'd be fun, but it'd probably be shit, is you could be slowed down by how much you're carrying. So if you really need to get there somewhere, you can throw stuff off the caravan so you travel faster. But that might be a bit annoying. But I definitely like the idea, though, that there's things that you can customize on your caravan so that, hey, it either carries 2 more slots or it travels 10% faster. It doesn't have to be like a detailed talent tree. It could do if we find the need for it, but at a very base level, maybe you buy like there's a 1 upgrade slot on it that you can buy stuff to put in, and you choose what type of caravan you want it to be.
Sorry, wait, I'm writing this down.
Okay.
You said talent tree.
I was saying, like, it may not need the talent tree, but it depends on if we feel there's enough interesting ways for people to kind of diversify it. But as a very base, I think it might be nice just to have a single perk that you can give your caravan, but you can find or buy multiple perks.
Like they can choose to have a larger inventory but slower speed, kind of.
Yeah. Or it's less of a slower speed. It's more of, there's another perk which gives you a faster speed.
Maybe we can buy new caravans.
Yeah,
instead of the talent tree.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm down with that. And maybe that they can live in the caravanserai, or whatever we called that bloody place.
Caravanserai.
Yeah, caravanserai. I never know how to say that word. But yes. So you can choose which one you go out on an adventure on as well. But I think upgrades would be a thing, because that would be a case that maybe you don't want to pay the gold to upgrade, so you've got to go out in the old boy that you've got. Could be interesting.
Okay. Yeah, nice touches. Though, yeah, the everything goes back to inventory. Maybe we should talk about the inventory first. Really.
Yeah. Well, what do you want to talk about with inventory then?
Okay, let's go. Resources, items, inventory, guild stash, and everything. All the questions.
Okay.
So, what type of resources are we collecting? Like.
So I think with inventory, we need to probably treat inventory completely different to our card deck, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have our cards. That's different to what your adventurers are taking out with them, right? So that's one clear distinction, at least to start with. So with the cards and abilities aside, are we are we treating trinkets as the same
The same question.
as a card?
Like
Sorry.
here, look. Do we carry trinkets in the inventory, or are they just
Yeah.
cards?
I think, well, the trouble is with our UI at the moment and the implementation of it, it looks like they're cards, right? But we don't have, we could like in the future, we could easily change it to be like, hey, they are equipping this item. You know, it
Yes,
doesn't.
even if we can get them to be items, we can have multiple trinkets, or I don't know.
Oh, what, that
that's
they could
helpful.
equip, you mean? Or.
Yeah,
What,
because we don't have enough room right now. Because the cards are huge.
right, sorry. Okay, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, if it was an item slot that we could just drag something into, then yeah, you could potentially have multiple. Like 2 that they could choose to that gives more diversity in builds. But for example, right, if any character could have 2 trinkets, but like I guess what are the other things we have? Because we have abilities as well. So I think for me, like the slot cards, like the actual cards that you play, along with the abilities are those, right? The special and the ultimate or whatever we've called them, right?
True.
They're basically actions that you perform. So they will never go in your inventory. I think they need to go into that deck.
Yes.
So it might be worth just. I think we both agree on that, but just have like a point in there. You know that your deck includes action cards, ultimates, specials, and I guess we would also group into that the if we still use them by the end of the game, the action card. You know the
Support cards.
is the what did you call it?
Support cards.
Yes, that's the one I was looking for. The green ones on the side we had.
Okay. Yeah.
So they would all fit into your your little card pouch or whatever we want to call it. Now the other stuff that's for you as like a player, I guess. Whereas the rest of them, I don't know, it's tricky to paint it that way. Let's forget I said that. So the card pouch is just for the cards, let's say, right? But then we need to think about the the actual inventory then.
Yeah.
So the actual inventory, the first question you have, what resources are we collecting? So we talked before.
Yeah, you wrote in Niclino these lines: potions, buff food, caravan repair kit, and then
Yeah.
I added smith blueprints and smithing mine resources.
So the mine resources being the resourcing for crafting, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, 100% agree with that.
Crafting resources.
Yeah. So we could also have like we mentioned earlier, an item would be like to rearrange your card pouch or whatever. A campfire, we talked that idea earlier, where you could do something at a campfire to redo your deck.
Campfire currency.
Add in brackets what that means, because we'll forget if we look at this in. No, I mean as in write what we mean by that in brackets.
I know.
I was like, am I coding with Alicia? This feels like I'm coding with Alicia.
In parentheses.
Parenthesis.
So what is it? You spend
An item, yeah.
So
re-choose. Oh yeah,
modify your deck at campfire or heal or whatever.
Or
do other actions. I think it's
or special, yeah, or other special actions, I guess. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that's all good. So the resources is definitely one thing of it. What about we could have just like trash that you sell back at the town to make gold. Like that's one thing they did in Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah.
Is you find loot, and so you kind of, that's how you bring gold back. But we just have gold as it is. So that could be something. Oh, sorry, I didn't even see that next question. Do we have gold stored as physically in the inventory? The way that oh, wow, excuse me, that came from nowhere. The way I would imagine it is no, because I think it would be tricky. We've got these like pay 3 gold to turn over these cards at the end. If it's in the inventory and it's like it takes an inventory slot, it'd just be difficult, I think, to manage, and you can't or for a player to visualize how much inventory space it's taking. So
that's the point, right? Like, you can only have 999 gold in one slot. Then you have 3 gold slots occupied by the gold. Inventory slots occupied by the gold, and then you have to throw some items out to keep your gold.
yeah, if you want to go over that amount, yeah. No, I mean
But it's also annoying, I guess. I hate this in Resident Evil, like them
no.
having a small inventory space.
Yes. Oh, yes. I've played Resi in 0 and 1 recently, and yeah, at least in 0 you could drop things. In Resi 1, you find something you like, but you've got something you don't want, but you can't swap it unless you run and find a box somewhere. Yeah. So like, I don't have strong enough feelings either way. I would just say that what would be easiest maybe is if we had you have a gold amount that you keep in a coin purse, let's say, which isn't part of your inventory, but then you do things in your inventory would be stuff that you would sell in the town.
Did they have it in Darkest Dungeon?
I don't know if they had the gold. They had valuables,
Gold.
which they did have gold like that. Yeah.
Gold.
Yeah. You're right.
Like I said. Look at this.
Yeah, and you had to do it, really, right? And the other things were like valuable things, right? Yeah.
I think it makes sense. Like when you're in a map that you're collecting resources.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, cool. Let's make that decision for now then. Let's go with it. We can revise it. It's probably better we make some calls and we can backtrack on them, right?
Sure.
So let's say gold is in an inventory, but I think we'd probably have to do it shorter stacks or something, right? Or up the cost of stuff in game, whatever.
Yes.
Do you think we'd also have valuables that you could sell? Because we haven't written that down. Is a type of resource inventory, resource or items we're collecting. Would we have just a value, like a? What I mean by valuables is that's just like you get a reward which is a random vase, right? Let's say. And that has no value, but if you can keep it in your inventory till you get to town, you can sell it for gold.
Before I forget it, quest items probably right, and so okay, sorry.
No props.
So it's valuables.
Yes, but this is the junk we spoke about before, right? That you can either break down into materials or you can sell for gold.
Is it traders market?
Yeah, maybe or break into resources because maybe we want to do that. You know how like in MMOs you can either disenchant or sell it, right?
Yeah, maybe you bring the valuables to the smith.
Yeah. And you just choose what you want.
I'm just having some. I'm struggling to imagine how cards are introduced to player in the game world. Like you can make the smith craft a card for you, but also they break a physical object as well.
What do you mean by they break a physical object as well?
They can scrap a valuable like the vase you bring.
Oh, what are you saying that you don't think that they would be able to do both?
What I mean is, what is a card to the hero in our party? How do they see it?
Right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we can get a sensible answer to that.
Okay.
Because I feel we're doing a card game, but then it's tricky. It's like we're learning. Yeah, you're right. You're not wrong. Um,
What I mean is, the smith. It could be something else, like a wizard that crafts it from like out of nowhere, but with some magic or something.
right.
So you gain abilities that way.
Yeah. But then we represent them as cards. But that's just
Yes.
for the card mechanic, right?
Uh, like, because it's more of a spiritual or an abstract thing. It's you're more okay to it, I guess.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. But then, so what? Do you think someone who would break down physical world items would be a different NPC? Is that what you're trying to say?
I don't know. Yeah, you got me
Yeah.
there.
Well, I don't. No, I don't mind. It's more of just
I
making
don't
sure
want
I hear
more
you properly.
NPCs. I guess the simpler the better in that case. But
You might even just be able to sell it at like one of the existing ones, whether it's the tavern or
I think it still makes some sort of sense that a wizard is melting down an object and getting resources out of
yeah,
it.
yeah, or the
Um,
cardsmith. But the cardsmith
Cards.
doesn't. The cardsmith doesn't give you the idea of like learning. I guess, right? Is that the
Hmm.
trouble?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Whatever. I just like the name, so I don't really
Uh,
care.
so the consumables, like the buff food or whatever, the potions, can we use these items when roaming the map?
Yes, that's what I'd imagine.
So that's how we heal. We.
Well, it depends what they are, but yeah, if you're, I don't know whether you'd need to be on a certain note to use items. How we'd want to do it, but I'd imagine you could just use them at any time. Let's start with that and see what trouble that brings.
Otherwise, it doesn't make uh enough sense to have an inventory, I guess. Like, oh, if you're like only be able to use those
Yes,
at
yeah,
a
I see what you
certain
mean.
node.
I see what you mean. Yeah. I think at any point you can use stuff. But there will be certain items that can only be used at certain places, like the campfire stuff, right? So let's say there's something that gives you a buff for the next kind of 3 rounds of combat or three kind of combat encounters. Then you can't just use that anywhere. You need to kind of use that at a certain spot.
Yeah.
Who
I
knows?
think if you have those consumables, you can use them anywhere, but maybe we have stronger shrine nodes here and there.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Then that will give you 3 combat buffs, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah,
Do we
maybe.
have any items we can use during a fight?
So we
Maybe.
talked about this before. Like there's potions in Slay the Spire, right? That
Mhm.
let you just do a random 2 damage or um do whatever. But I guess
So
I'm
how
not too
does
sure.
it work? Like, if you have that item in your inventory and it's an item that you can use in a fight, then it shows up in the fight UI or something somewhere.
Are you asking how it was in Slay the Spire or just how it would work for
No,
this? You
no.
mean? Yeah.
How we would.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. The one thing that crossed my mind when you asked this is that I feel we already have this concept of the support cards as like
Mhm.
in combat change things. So maybe we don't
Change.
need to be able to use items mid combat from inventory.
Hmm.
Maybe it's that's where you store stuff. You can use it between combat, but then when you're in combat, we don't have that. Okay, you can go through your inventory to do stuff, but I'm not too sure. I know they had stuff like in Darkest Dungeon, they have like you deploy your inventory is always there, right at the bottom, and so you can choose like okay, use bandages to stop the bleeding on this character now. So like everything's in there. So yeah, that's the two. Darkest Dungeon lets you see everything and use everything at all times. Slay the Spire has a special type of potion which doesn't. There's no inventory in Slay the Spire, I guess. The only inventory you have is your potion inventory, and you can have
We'll
up to
see how
three.
we feel. We'll see how we feel about this after we implement a little more and explore more of the support cards.
Yeah, part of me feels like right now, like we're thinking of a system that might be cool, but I don't know if we actually have a proper use for it yet.
Let's think
Evaluate in future,
about
I guess, right?
this. after support card exploration.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if we get rid of support cards, then maybe there's a need for something to change the tide of battle. That's the main thing we want, right? Is that you can kind of occasionally force your own luck a bit.
So I answered this. Yes, trinkets should be items, not cards.
Yeah.
Though I'm thinking, so if you assigned a trinket to a hero, does it still stay in the inventory
No.
or?
There you have it then.
Okay. So if you remove that trinket from that hero, it goes back to your inventory.
Yes.
Okay.
Think of it as a hat, I guess. Right. They can wear it, and we don't have to worry about it if it's on them. But otherwise, we need to carry it.
Okay. Can we get rid of items during the roaming?
Drop, not salvage, I would say.
Well, at some
Oh, at certain nodes, you're thinking.
nodes, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so how about we answer it by you can always drop
Always drop.
a salvage is either at village or specialist map or potentially specialist node maps or whatever.
Well, I'll just
sorry.
say salvage at special nodes.
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah. I was saying node
Okay.
maps for some reason instead of map node. Anyway.
So it looks like I ran out of inventory questions, but actually I'm curious how we're designing the inventory thing in the base and everywhere else.
Like how we see it, do you mean, or what?
Yes, how we see it. So I will implement it at some point, right?
Yeah, I feel like it would be a tab that you could press and view probably at any point, but then maybe on certain screens it just shows it. But that's me guessing without thinking about it much.
Okay, I will think about it more later then. Okay.
You can send me, like, when you start thinking about it, feel free to just like send over some pictures or thoughts or whatever.
Yes. Okay, I think we have a solid inventory system here. Can we go back to healer here?
Yeah. No problem.
Yeah, so I played the game a little bit, and it was a little boring to place heroes there for only healing purposes. Remember, in Darkest Dungeon, you also get rid of the diseases and everything, so it makes sense.
Did they heal naturally as well? I thought the beds was purely for that, and they may have healed a little bit if you left them. I can't remember how it worked.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, it was making more sense, and it felt a little dull in our case. And we talked about this actually when we were exploring the upgrades for the healer bit, and we thought maybe it gives some buffs to healthy heroes.
Like a blessing sort of thing, or whatever.
Yes. Blessing.
Let's think. Yeah, I don't know. I think part of me feels is feeling it's boring based on balance.
Yeah, maybe. But also we need some more upgrade types as well. So right now we have bed numbers.
Yeah.
Number of beds.
So maybe that's what some of the upgrades can do, is like if someone fully heals while at the healer. So let's say that you heal, let's just say 20 HP per trip or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that you could have a thing, one that would increase that amount to 25, then to 30, blah, blah, blah. And then you could have another upgrade that would be if a character is feel to full health while in here, then they get a buff or something like that. So it's all still based around the healing.
Yeah, okay.
Because the thing, imagine you got a character who's on like 50 out of 59 health, then you're like, well, I could take him out, and they're only 9 health lower. That's not too, and I could heal them in combat. But if you do choose to keep someone out, no, we'll leave them in, and then they'll be ready to go next time. Then you get that extra. It's more decisions, I guess.
Yeah.
And the different type of buffs can be different types of upgrades. Then whether or not it's maybe it could be like a trickle heal afterwards. You know that they'll heal 2 health at the end of every round of combat for the next 3 encounters or something. I don't know.
Because they are feeling healthy.
Yeah, revitalized.
And they recover fast, yeah.
So yeah, I think maybe if we work on like the amount of heal, and then some buffs upon full heal, and the amount of beds, until we've got more information about like we can't really plan for like diseases and stuff like that when it's not. Our diseases and burns are purely like combat based, right? Not lingering between combat.
It's becoming too similar to Darkest Dungeon in that.
Well, and also at the moment it's not in our current design, right? That the burn lasts longer than combat, so I don't think we need to add it. But let's see how that feels, because I do, as I said, it may be a balance question. That it doesn't need to be exciting. It's more of a case of okay, well, like I don't want to lose this character.
Yes.
And that might feel better when you're not playing a quick 2-minute round.
This idea is exciting. If we also get some RNG in it, like you don't know what attribute you're gonna buff.
Ah, okay. Interesting. Yeah. That could be fun. It's a slight roll of the dice sort of thing, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Do you have more questions in that area?
No.
Okay,
I mean,
cool.
It was the 3rd upgrade because I'm trying to have 3 different upgrade types, then have variations on them. Like you increase 2, 3, 4, 5 beds, and amount of heal goes like this, and same for the buffs as well. More.
Oh yeah, it's either a different amount of buffs or it could be a variety of buffs that you can provide, right?
Yeah, I don't know which one is.
Like maybe the best one would give you or increase all stats by 1 or something, whereas the others is increase a random stat would be a weaker one.
I know what you meant.
Roger.
Okay. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I like that.
Good.
Okay. Traders market.
So the traders market. What could we buy from here? Right. Okay. Yeah. So this is if we were to liken it to Darkest Dungeon, this was like, you know, when you're about to go out, you have a chance to buy equipment to go out, because what you want to avoid is a situation where you have no equipment and you can't buy any new equipment, so you just have to go out without anything, because that makes the game harder to balance then, I guess. And it gives you a second source, because you might be unlucky. There might be RNG related to what drops, like whether you get these items when you're out on a run. So if RNG is against you, then you might lack an item which significantly kind of is important for like doing harder missions or something. So I think that was the idea. And also the traders market explains where you could sell stuff for gold, right?
True. Because we don't have map designs that you need some items to use currently, so it was hard to imagine how traders market worked.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So it's the same. I guess this relates to our items inventory kind of questions that we wrote earlier, right? Everything we listed in that bullet point list you got at the top of your page now on 621.
Yeah, maybe we can have some limitations in there, but yeah.
Yeah. I feel that there would be some like base stuff in there. Like maybe you don't buy gold, obviously.
A campfire. No, you should buy gold. Campfire. 2 gold for 2 gold. Campfire currency makes sense. I think it's exciting.
And that's a plan one, you know. And you could always have stuff that only lasts for 1 trip.
Yeah.
As well, like food.
I was thinking blueprints as well, but like you only see two blueprints there.
Yeah. I think if we look at the shop in Slay the Spire, they have like different sections in there. So like trinkets can be in there. Let me just
Yeah.
go image and try and get one. And yeah,
But you only see like if we have 50 trinkets in the game, you only see 2 of them each time you visit the base, right?
yes, yeah, and probably not the best tier ones as well. Maybe. Oh, who knows? Who knows? But
Well, you will upgrade the traders market as well, then you'll get to see better ones.
yeah, maybe that'll allow you to get rarer items, and you get
Yes.
to choose like increase the rarity of trinkets you get, or increase the
Mhm.
rarity of cards you get. Because cards was another thing we talked about that could show there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I sent you a picture over of how it works in Slay the Spire, and so what you get up there is so yeah, in the top line is just your character, your class specific cards, which obviously wouldn't be quite relevant to us here. But then at the bottom you have just cards that anyone could use on the bottom left. Then on the right, you've got the top row where there's one gap missing. They're trinkets that you can collate. The one that looks like a nib of a pen and a bird. And then the bottom row are the potions that you can then use in combat, whereas the trinkets are like the buffs. And then you can also remove cards from your deck and stuff like that for a cost too. So there's kind of like a few different categories there of the way that they've laid it out. And I'd imagine that but these turn up on the map. It's like they're good when they turn up because it's one of the only ways that you can actually get rid of cards in the game. It's also one of the only ways you can kind of, spend your gold that you've been accumulating through the run. And acquire trinkets as well, and you get to have the choice over it. Where normally all of these things are available elsewhere, but it's RNG. So I think that kind of concept is good. Is that like you're not getting anything you couldn't get elsewhere, but you don't get to choose out of all, like you said, 50 trinkets. You don't get to choose which one you want, but there'll be a small selection available, and you'll get to choose then if you want to buy it or not, and you don't have to. And then every time you come back, it'll be refreshed.
Okay. Yeah, I think traders market makes sense now.
Good, good, good. So as for upgrades, you could
Wait,
yeah,
wait. Sorry,
okay.
sorry, sorry, sorry. Did I log in here? I think I had a base. Yes. Okay. And with the upgrades, traders market. Oh, I don't have it for the traders market.
Uh,
Upgrades. Upgrades that increase max number of items listed.
Yeah,
Upgrades that
maybe per
increase
category we could do in there as well. If
per
you think of it
category.
as like up to 3 trinkets can show up in here or whatever.
Yeah.
Higher quality as well. Yeah, that's good. Increase the amount of discounted items. Oh yeah, that is. I forgot that is a thing in that screenshot. I even showed some of them will be on offer. I think they've happened to bought the one that was on offer. But one of the 5 cards it shows you is like 50% off.
Yeah. Then writing this popped an idea in my mind, like a perk. You increase discount rate per item, about in one session.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, yeah. There's a trinket in South Spy which is like what's it called? Like a loyalty card. But how that works is you just get a flat extra 20% off everything in the store. But I quite like the like shopping spree kind of perk, which would be you get 5% more discount for each item you buy. But it could be a little bit cheesed if they buy all the cheap items and then buy the really expensive one right at the end. But maybe that's not too bad either.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
wondering where it would fit in though as a perk.
Yeah. We don't have party perks at the moment, I guess.
Yeah, and if it
But
was a
we
trinket, then you can just change a trinket in the town, and it doesn't feel.
but we,
Maybe it'd be a
we were
skill of a character.
but we were thinking about it. Like, if you're carrying this item, then you will automatically receive this perk, kind of.
Yeah, possibly.
Like the first thing is the action points one. Remember, if you're if you're if you have only 2 heroes, then you'll get extra action points because you
Right.
have
Yeah. Yeah.
this
Yeah.
trinket or
Maybe
whatever
by
item in your.
yeah, it could even. I just think it could be miserable that when they die, you pick up like their dog tags or whatever we'd want to call them, right? And that item is the thing that gives you the buff. Um, and it's like a set bonus if you're holding two of these. Then, but then imagine that you could just carry around the dog tags of all the fallen cats before, and you'd be super strong. Silly. Yeah, one thing I'd like to think note on the traders market is we should try and think of this as a reusable system that we could make as a node to have a limited shop.
Hmm.
Maybe like the traders market is like your standard. Every time you go back to town, you've got something. But then there could be a node that is a shop that has some items, but it isn't affected by your buffs, right? Your sorry, not your buffs, your upgrades, right?
Yes.
It'll be like a wandering salesman, and maybe based on where in the world it is, you can get different items. There might even be some that sell resources,
Hmm.
so that you can kind of buy your way towards the materials to make a card. But maybe they shouldn't be available in the town.
Yes. Yes. Good ideas. I think I had a similar thing written down somewhere, but I don't know where. And I had another idea. Forget about. Probably. No, I cannot remember now. Whatever. Did we talk about the other? Anyways, I have enough things to do now, so
Yeah.
the healer. Some. Actually, maybe we can talk about the training ground upgrades. What was okay? Upgrades that increase the number of trainers. Yeah. Upgrades that
So
increase
these act as
quality.
beds, right? That give you XP rather than health.
So in this case, I called them trainers instead of beds. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
of
mean,
course, of course. So just comparing to the.
yes, yeah, true.
Okay, cool. So the upgrades may be able to follow suit.
Hmm.
I did have a stray thought, but I think it would be too confusing to be bothered with. Is that you could get a temporary talent point. Um, like if you train, like the overhealing thing we talked about earlier. Instead of having like a buff that you get a short term talent point, so you could maybe unlock a new talent just for that run and then it goes. But I think it'd be too confusing. The concept of a chain, like a non-static talent tree, if you will.
And I don't remember this concept, by the way. Guild member trainers increase max level gap.
Oh, okay, yeah. I know what this means. So we were talking before that the trainers you actually train instead is not a default trainer. You use your other guildies to train each other.
Ah, yeah. Now I remember.
So the max level
Uh,
gap is how much of a level 10 can train someone who's 3 levels below them, but maybe you can increase that to 4 to 5 levels below them. They're friends. Cute.
so increase max level gap means if a 3 level or 5 level character is training level 1 character, kind of.
Yes. Yeah. Whereas before, maybe you can only train someone, or let's say you can only learn from someone 3 levels above you, and you can basically increase that so that
Yeah.
it makes it more flexible. You don't have to be as picky in who trains who.
This only worries me that it adds a lot of implementation.
Yeah, well, we could stick with we can use that as a feature to add later and stick with the static trainer for now.
Yeah,
But it
but
just makes it more useful to have good um kind of characters who aren't out on your mission. I guess that was one of the ideas I liked with the training each other. Is it you're only taking 3 out with you on the mission, and you say you got another 10, then they all just feel like spears. And how Darkest Dungeon manages that well is that your characters get absolutely smashed every time they go out, and so
yeah,
they all become your mains in a way. So it's an alternative way of kind of dealing with that. Is maybe some are good at training, but then you might need to take some out to take their level up so that they can keep skilling up other people.
yeah,
But you're right, it does add implementation details.
yeah. The only thing is that I need another upgrade type here, but
Ah, okay, yeah, that's a fair point.
that's
Um,
fine. We can have less upgrades in training grounds for now.
what have we got? Number of trainers, quality of training, more XP. But hey, hang on, there might be something we can do with this, let's think. Um, you could do something like, hmm, like I'm trying to think whether like lower experience, like the lower the level, the faster they train over time. So like a level 1 character would train to level 2 faster, with this perk, if that makes sense. But I'm not too sure how exactly we would word it or set the parameters.
Or maybe close to this idea, you can leave some of your heroes here to train others, like other people that they're not even in your guild.
Oh,
That
for
and
money.
they, yeah, they earn money.
Yeah, yeah. So like a job, basically. Because we talked about jobs before, didn't we? In
So
like in the
I don't know how I would do it in this UI. Um, yeah, so you select this character and then you don't know if it's training or training
yeah,
others.
I guess there could be a thing next to that. Yeah, it's difficult because you're using the same UI, right? Um, yeah, if you're using the same UI, I don't have any suggestions.
Yeah. Okay. It wasn't a bad idea.
I
I
like
will
the idea
consider it.
though. I just don't like the
I will.
implementation
Yeah,
effort.
I will consider it. Yeah.
So you basically, yeah, they can then act as a trainer, skill up the
Maybe
town.
place heroes to train others and earn money.
Yeah, because we had that with
Earn.
the guild hall or the tavern or something that you could maybe put people there to work as well, so
Yeah.
that you earn a bit of trickle income or reputation or whatever it was. Because maybe you could earn reputation as well as gold.
Yeah. What else can you earn reputation from?
Missions is the main source at the moment.
Yes.
We could have it like finding.
Oh, I remembered the thing I was going to ask
Oh, go
earlier.
on.
So we talked about the party what is party trinkets or whatever they are.
Oh, like
The
party
one
wide buff sort of thing.
is the perk that like the action points one.
Yes, yeah. Like if a character dies, that it gives you something that gives
Yes,
you more.
yeah,
Yeah.
the extra action. Uh, what if we had? What if we add some um behavior to the valuables like this one, the action point one? If you carry
Oh,
this
like if you're
vase,
carrying this
yeah, yeah,
this lamp, which is worth 1,000 gold, you can also when dying, you can rub it to see if you can grant the wish of another life or some shit like that.
Yes.
Okay, that would be interesting.
So yeah, they won't be just like stupid items, and they will have some use.
Yeah, okay, so they have a monetary value, but then they also. And I think having them in your inventory is an interesting way of having the party-wide perks. It gives us another reason to have that inventory, an important part of it, right?
Maybe not the inventory, but there's a slot in the caravan.
Hmm.
Bad design.
I just why do you want to take it away from the inventory if it's already an inventory item? Like
I'm just imagining like, are you going to fill your inventory with
with all of
12?
these now.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So you're trying to restrict it. That's the problem you're trying to solve here, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's another. Yeah, you're right. It's a problem. But I don't know if we want to solve it by introducing another confusing like slot or problem to solve a different way. So, um, you're right though. Yeah.
We can solve it in a different way still, right?
Either we do less of them, uh, or they take up more slots. It takes up 3 carry slots to drag this lucky buffalo around with you or whatever.
Mm.
But yeah.
Yeah, and I'm also questioning what if you had 3 of the same valuable. I
Yeah.
guess it's not doing anything special in that
You
case.
could well there some ways that games get around it is just having items that are unique. You can only hold one of them at once. Just as
Uh,
a game
yes,
mechanic,
but
you know.
we're also considering to sell the item, right? So if you sell it by accident, like you'd want to see it again later in the game.
Yes. So it'd still be about, but it just means you can't loot 2 at once.
Okay.
You can't have 2 copies of it in your inventory. It's not a great solution, but I've seen some games do it. Like I know WoW, for example, has it with certain loot pieces. Not all of them. Most of them you can have how many you want, but certain of them have a keyword on it, like which is like unique, and it means you can't have 2 of them in your player inventory ever. So it's a workaround that we could look at if we're struggling.
Yeah. Yeah. The
But
worst case.
it doesn't solve having like 5 great ones which aren't the same. You're right.
Yeah, worst case solution is the first in the inventory gets activated.
Oh god, that is worst case. uh, yeah. I mean, in which case, I feel like it'd be better off if our caravan had a mini little shrine that we place one item in, like you said, and that's the one that's activated.
Maybe the inventory has that slot, right? The special slot.
Yeah, possibly. It's just a silly thought I have to say while it's on my mind. I don't know if you have the same in Turkey, but over here on big like lorries and lorry drivers with their massive trucks and stuff. On the grill at the front of it, sometimes they have these mascots which are just like cuddly toys or whatever that they kind of tape to the front of their vehicle.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of that or no?
Oh, we have more like a truck text, like some
Oh
stupid
right.
saying. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Fair. And yeah, this they have like names and weird stuff over here, but some will like just attach like a little mascot that gets filthy and whatever. It's just stuck to the front of the vehicle. But anyway, that crossed my mind to the idea of having like one lucky item, you know, that we associate with that we just put on the front of the caravan as it's almost like a flag to rise, right?
Yeah.
So we could even have different flags as items, but I don't want to add that thought now. So let's move on.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. And Smith, we don't have to talk about the upgrades yet. Healer we talk. Okay. Real quick, I'll check here. Map generation. What new types of maps we need? Uh, treasure map. I was confused about it. I don't know how it works.
Let me see. Sorry, excuse me. Hold on a second.
It's fine.
Okay, coughing. So map generation. What new types of map do we need? Treasure map. What's the goal? How does it work? Defending, survival. Okay, so we were trying to think of these are like different missions rather than maps, right? Were you thinking of? So treasure map, I think, was the where you had to go and find something at a certain location, wasn't it?
Maps have missions, yeah. So depending on the mission, I generate a map, right?
Yeah. But okay, so you need to generate a map of a certain type. You mean, right?
Yes.
So, well, the defending one, that one was like a whole different type of one, right? We were not exploring. That's just like a wave of fight after fight, right?
Yeah. So I actually have this, but I'm also worried that it's boring to wait until the midnight. So
It could, well,
maybe.
that could just be a case of you got to get to a specific node, and then when you get there, it automatically says, we wait until night falls and defend, rather than
Well,
having to wait.
what I was imagining, like you are actually getting prepared for that fight, like going node to node, maybe buffing yourself.
Right.
So that was what I was imagining. A different take on the roaming, but with a feature like pastime, it could work. You could manually pastime.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, it's not important. Let's skip it. Actually,
I'm trying to think. Well, different types of maps. There, I'm just trying to think. What would you describe our current type of map? Out of that,
we have several of them, right? Several different maps. Here. So reach the end node.
Right. Survive until night. Yeah. Escort. Oh yeah. Those ones, right?
Clear all enemy nodes, and the battlefield is that you have 3 imported nodes you need to get rid of. Then you're done, and I don't know what treasure is.
Okay. So that was what you're asking, is what the treasure. Was it like you had to go and find? Go to explore nodes and talk to people and see if it's kind of, I don't know though.
Yes.
If we're unsure, we can remove it, because we can just think of it again in the future when we know, mate, rather than scraping an idea together.
I think it's the same with defending, because I have it here somewhere, I guess.
Survive.
Yeah, this one. We can remove this as well.
Well, yeah, survive until night there. The only difference is you did think with the defending one that it could be more of a different game mode, right? Where you have wave after wave come without map navigation.
Yeah, we don't have the defending gameplay yet in the card game as well. So
yeah. Okay, let's for now DLC that, mate.
Yes.
And we'll move forward.
These we can talk later.
You sure?
Yeah.
I don't mind going through them.
Okay. Well, we don't have any idea how the Frontline works, so that's why I
love the idea of Frontline just because how much we both loved to hate it before. We loved it. We were like, this is gonna just change a lot. But I think the reason I like the Frontline, one of the reasons I like the Frontline, is because it added more. It gave us more options to make the gameplay, the actual card mechanic, because everything we've spoken about so far hasn't been game, right? The game card mechanic thing.
True.
So, it just gives us more tools to make more, let's just call it encounters, right? More interesting encounters. Because having different enemies with different abilities can only get you so far, I feel, unless we do stuff with like we talked before about like locking out zones of cards, or like things falling across the map, or spells that can impact like cards along a line that stops you from using them, or whatever it be, or these Frontline things that gives us more tools to make you basically don't want it to feel too repetitive always. You want the core gameplay to be repetitive of, I play the cards, I kill the enemy on the side, but you don't want the kind of, you don't want it to feel like there's no depth to it.
They add some variation. That for
Yeah.
sure.
So as much as it adds complexity, I do like it.
Yeah, I just don't want them to increase the length of the battles.
Mm.
Especially when I'm watching you play, you take your time. A single fight takes like 15 minutes,
Yeah.
and I finished that fight in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So with front lines, maybe like, so let's answer these questions. Does like do frontline members have vitality too?
I'm imagining like a frontline character. Yeah, a frontline thing is basically um a unit, let's say, a basic unit that occupies a slot that has to be gone through to get to the original character, if you will.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And the most basic form of that would be purely that it's just a meat, whatever you'd call it. I can't even think. A punching bag, right? That it has health and it does nothing else. However, if we wanted to let's just extend that a little and say that it's something that, like, it's a guard dog. It can be hit, but if it gets hit, it'll bite back or something like that. Then it has a bit more to it. Then, but it's no. You're not going to give it orders, I don't think. Right? You're not going to have to choose what it does that turn and things like that.
Yeah.
Sorry,
they have their own rules and they just work.
Yeah, I think the core concept is that they have to be target. Do we want to restrict it to that? I'm not too sure. They're associated with a character slot, and when a character moves, they don't move.
I mean, they either act after each turn, or maybe I can say "and" here, and after they get hit or something.
Yeah, like the reactive, you mean by that, right?
Yes, react.
I'd like to not. Yeah, it's either they could do something at the end of start of turn, reactive, or end of turn, I guess. And that could be the flavor text of what the ability is, or the character thing is. I think the core thing that should be shared between them is that it's associated with a slot rather than a character. So, as in, like, it's in slot 3. If a boulder goes down on slot 3, and then your character moves from slot 3 to slot 2, the boulder's not going to move with it. However, we might want to make a specific type of frontline character, like, let's say, guard dog. I know I'm using dog again, but shut up. Whereas the guard dog might follow its owner around, so that the trait of that would be, intercepts incoming hits, and follows the character. That's the difference between a boulder and a guard dog, is that it'll just follow you around, for example. And then I'm just trying to think of different ways that we could utilize this.
I have one. Imagine an enemy have a frontline unit, something like a magic rock or something, and what it does is that it has an HP, of course, but what it's doing, that it's not attacking or anything, but each turn it will buff the character behind it.
Yes.
Like it will increase the power by 1 until you destroy it.
Yes, and I like that. I like you could also you could use that in a different way, but similar. Is one, you could put it, let's say it's something for me, I put it in front of me and it buffs me, right? Or any attacks I do kind of through it, let's say, are amplified. But you could also imagine placing it in front of the opposition. So it's basically like a hunter's marker, like a weak, you're putting a debuff on them until that thing is destroyed. But then I don't know how they would destroy. Say that you have the ability to place a unit or a frontline unit in front of your opposition. I don't know how your opposition then destroys it, because then we've got to be able to target our own frontline. And at the moment, I don't feel like the front lines need to be targetable. The front
Yeah,
lines,
yeah, definitely not. No,
yeah,
you target the slot or whatever
yeah,
the
yeah.
player slot, character slot, and
Yes,
when they got
exactly,
targeted.
exactly. So we might need to limit it from being able to be placed on an opposition for
Hmm.
that reason.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how you'd get rid of it otherwise.
Well, this gives me another idea that a card that automatically dispels uh the front line or destroys it.
Yeah. Spell
Yeah.
like, do you mean like a support card or do you mean like a character special sort of thing?
Like I mean, like we can have more cards having some actions on the frontline enemies,
Okay.
or
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't disagree with that.
like this with this card you hit the character for 2 damage, but to the twice the damage to the frontline character.
Which one was that? Say that. Oh, say that again. Sorry.
Like imagine we have a card, like it can be an action card on the board, a special one. So using that, you can attack the enemy for 2 damage. If it has a front line, you attack the front line for 4 damage.
Oh, right. Okay, I get what you're saying. So it's basically a card you'd use in a frontline situation.
Yeah, it's strong against front line.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, that's cool. I agree with you there. Yeah, some more variants and options for people to put. You know, oh, we want some frontline defense in our deck, so we should add some cards in for that.
True. Nice. Yeah. The more we talk about front lines, the more I like them.
Okay, so let's go through your points there. So, can enemies hit behind front
Actually,
lines?
we went through them, I guess.
Yeah, I think generally they couldn't. I guess unless it's dependent. I guess that should be the rule. Is that
Mostly no.
yeah? I think if we think of implementation wise, though, it's just like anytime you attack a slot, we would call the front. If there's something in the front line, then we check its rules, and it can have its own rules. Like you might have one which is just it absorbs half of the damage, and then the rest gets passed on. Perhaps that makes it more complex, but like I don't think that'd be a stretch.
Except special situations, like it's that
Yeah.
exception where you can also maybe target a hidden enemy. Even usually you cannot, but maybe with an ability you can.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, they have wit.
And like some, but it might be worth adding. So the frontline members have vitality too.
Mm-hmm.
If you can say yes or and or a duration.
A duration, yeah. So they stay up there for 3 turns, no matter what.
Yeah, yeah, or even or both. You know, maybe it'll stay up for 5 turns or until you destroy it. So,
New question.
one thing on can frontline members attack? I'd say some do, but it'd be a automatized or whatever. That's not the right word, but you know what I'm trying to say. The player wouldn't choose what they do. You know, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay. Um, can just above before I answer that one? Yeah, can you just add that it's but character doesn't choose their attack. Like the player doesn't choose their attack. All right.
And control their attack.
Yeah, yeah, it's like based on what they are. Okay, so frontline switch lanes on their owner. I'd say like typically no, but except situation in special situations.
So you plan your front lines like you're planning your lanes.
Yeah, what I think what we wanted the frontline thing was to be more of put a significance on the positioning.
So yeah, it makes more sense that way. So oh, here's a something unit in this lane, so I should switch my Bard character to that lane to make use of it.
Yeah, yeah, and that could even be a thing that you need to do sometimes. To say that you've got like a say one boss puts like a mega bomb in front of a lane, right? And every 3 turns it explodes and does 10 damage. So you might need to rotate which character takes that bomb damage every turn, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. Yeah, we talked about these.
Uh,
Yes,
yeah,
they should buff.
I'm
Yes.
thinking like the most simple one would just be like a boulder, you know? It's a rock in the way.
Yeah, maybe sometimes they are shields. Yes, why not?
Yeah, I guess that's basically just they just have vitality and nothing else. So yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm down with that too.
Yeah, or maybe not even shields. Maybe something that reduces damage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is one of this special cases, I guess, that you can
Yeah.
damage the one behind. But
Mhm.
okay, all right, all right. I don't think I'm ready to discuss support cards at the moment. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Well, we can leave that as a to come back to.
it's always fun to explore different kind of environments, though. Mm.
Yeah. Okay.
Because
Yeah.
we were playing the game in the same environment for
Yes.
months now.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Okay.
So
So,
first of all, I'm still considering uh like having multiple environments in a single mission. Um,
oh, based on
but
where the node is, and you track, like for example, if
yes,
the
yes,
north path goes through some mountains, it'd be snowy there, but it's on the same map where it's not all snow.
true. Also another thing is like maybe you have a cave or dungeon in that mission, so you go
Yes.
in there, you see that.
I with that said, I do also like the concept of like regional things. Like if there's a mission in the swampland, then you know, oh, okay, that means I could get this sort of item, or we need to go
Yes.
there. So as long as we don't get rid of that, then I'm cool with that.
Yeah, yeah. If you're going to a more swampy area, you know that you'd be seeing more of this NPCs, and maybe you get these resources more. So
Yes, yeah, yeah. I also do. I think what you were just saying about you could have snowy or a cave or whatever. I think when you're on a node or you hover over a node, we could easily have a bunch of like mini cards, not like playing cards, but just like icons that represent like this zone is snowy, or and that means something, you know.
yeah,
So it's communicated clearly that they know that they're going into like, for example, a cave might be dark, so lower chance of hitting or whatever crap we want to do with the environment.
true, true. We will talk about those, and
Yeah.
also I was thinking, so I don't know what environment are we on at the moment. Like, it's forest or something, I guess,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we have
Yeah.
we have heavy rain, traps, and campfire.
Oh yes, yeah, okay. They're the
Uh,
the generic ones that we've got at the moment, right?
Yes. So I was thinking we should have like actually 5 or 6 different cards per environment, but only 3 will be added in the deck in every card game.
So do you
So
mean yeah? So and you don't know what they are, or you do know what they
no,
are?
no, no. When you mentioned like maybe you should show the cards when you hover over the
Right.
node, yeah, it reminded me. This is
Okay. So
nice. So
it could show the cards. You mean by that?
yes, it should show, but you'll see different cards on each node.
So yeah. Just to be clear, sorry, and I'm banging on about this. So say there was a dungeon node, and there's 5 different. Just call them A, B, C, D, and E for now, right?
Yes.
Um, when I hover over it, do I see that? Oh, this particular one has B, C, D,
Yes.
or
I
okay?
think that's nice.
Because the alternative is this could have A, B, C, D, E, and when you go in, it then says, okay, the ones you've got are B, C, D, and you're in that fight
Yeah,
then.
maybe it shows them if you have a certain item or
I like that. I like that.
an ability.
The third option is that it says this can have A, B, C, D, E, and then when you go into combat, you don't know. It's just it randomly chooses three of them, and you,
Hmm.
you don't know until you start turning them over. We don't have to commit to those. I just want to put them out there anyway.
Yeah. Uh, like uh, I like I like to see like in FTL. Remember when you go into a nebula and there's some lightnings or stuff. So your sensors are gone or something. If you
Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
Yes. So it shows an icon on top. Yeah, I like that approach, but yeah, maybe you're not knowing it and getting
Mm.
it's also.
So generally, what we're looking for in this topic here then is to kind of choose our like thematic regions, if you will, is it?
Yeah.
And think how they could add cards that would make the impact the game, the card game mechanics,
Yeah.
right?
So yeah, the first thing is the environment cards in the deck, and the second thing is how the gameplay works. The
Yes.
tiny changes in the like the first the initial idea we had in the jam Cattenburg, the slide.
Oh, that it
So
slides every time, right?
yeah,
Yeah, I like. I still like that. So that could be for like a beach, a coastal zone, or something like the tide, or something,
yeah.
pushing it in and out. And we also had that tree falling idea. I remember we mentioned before. Um. Oh yeah, I
So
can see
I
that's in the
wrote here
forest. Yeah, yeah.
the way cards are dealt on the board. Actually, mostly that changes, right? So either they are you replace the ones on the board, or they slide, or I had more ideas actually.
Yeah, for that one, I'm not sure. I haven't really thought of many more other than replace what was
I
there or slide down. You know,
I had some ideas.
those
Uh,
meteors hitting.
Here, each turn a random card is discarded after used cards get replaced. Uh,
Okay, so it could let's say that it's like a sinkhole or something like that, and it just consumes a
yes,
random, or maybe a small
yeah,
patch of cards or something like that. Yeah,
adds more RNG, I guess, but still interesting.
it's interesting. I don't know if it'll change how the feel of the. It's worth having. I'm not saying it in that way. I think it's worth having, but it on its own it maybe isn't enough to define a feel of a region because I don't think the card recycling at the moment at least isn't super pivotal.
Like it's something changing is I think is good enough to have a feel.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in a different environment,
No,
and because
I agree,
yeah,
but I was saying like I think, and on its own, I don't know if it's. I think it also needs to be combined with some of these, like we got campfire, heavy rain, and trap, right? I think those added to the change of how cards get recycled make it feel like it's different. But if there wasn't any environmental cards associated with the area too, then I feel it wouldn't. You'd notice it, but whether it changes the gameplay is different, or your
yeah.
strategies, or whatever.
So I had a dungeon example here. It maybe trap chest.
Like a mimic thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a luck roll maybe.
It'd be good if
It
treasure chest and trap chest look exactly the same.
yeah,
You don't know which one it is uh,
it is.
until you play it. Don't know how that'd work in the physical version, mate, but it's fine.
So and the webs.
Yeah.
Your
I get that.
characters get slowed. I already have a slowed effect, which makes the character when you play a character on an action card, it costs one more action point.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yes. Another one,
Forest.
yeah, acid rain poisons your characters.
Uh, it just happens randomly, is it? on a particular character or all of them? Did you think that?
Well, the heavy rain hits everyone, so this should hit everyone.
Yeah,
I think.
sure,
Yeah.
sure. Um,
Tree fall.
so yeah, the tree fall is either like it can just hit a character, but I'm still keen to think more about the stuff that impacts the lanes slash
Yeah.
the board, because I'm imagining a tree falling across vertically almost, and it
Yeah.
kills 3 cards that turn or something. But that also feels like a different way that the cards would be dealt. Um, so yeah, I'm not 100%. I haven't fleshed it out fully. I mean by that.
Yeah, it could also shuffle the positions of the cards because maybe that's an earthquake in another
Yeah,
environment.
yeah, yeah. But I like how you like the concept of A as a frontline tree shield.
Yeah.
Like that's not a bad thing.
I don't know how it works. Like, is it overriding your current front line or?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Maybe it'll hit your front liner if not, right? But
true.
who knows? Faith of Mother, which is like +1 power. Oh, like a nature's
Yeah,
blessing sort of thing.
and here we had uh one
Buff.
buff and the other ones are debuffs. So
Yeah,
I try
yeah.
to have at least one buff. I don't know if there will be an algorithm that picks at least one buff out of five or how
Right,
many
yeah, no, I see
cards we
what you
have.
mean. Yeah, these need thought. These are harder. Yeah, these are. We need to come up with ideas rather than how does it work. I guess, right?
And
Is,
this is too harsh, I guess. Cards are shuffled after used cards are replaced.
oh, sorry, hang on. Oh, like all of them down on the playing field. You mean shuffled, or the ones in your
Yeah,
hand?
maybe it
That was
could.
like the earthquake thing you thought, though, right? Oh, but that was after
Yes,
every. Yeah,
like it could work in an environment and in a environment, like at the very end of the game, maybe. Like
yeah.
it's hard to keep track of cards all the time.
It becomes more RNG then as well, right? Because
Yeah,
you won't know where anything is. So it's purely what you happen to turn over. But I mean, I think it's somewhat fantasy that we think it's going to be super strategic, remembering where cards are. When the gameplay boils down to it later on, it might not actually get to that.
yeah.
So we'll have to see how it feels, I guess, as time goes on.
Okay,
Okay, yeah.
and
So
oh,
that's something to do though. That's not quite resolved yet. We need to just think about it. I think.
yes,
Character skill trees where we have different tree formations. Oh, is
yeah,
this
you
like the
mentioned
different?
that shapes. Yeah,
Um, originally I thought so, but I think like for now we maybe don't need. Should we just stick with what we got and see how it feels
yes.
and evaluate? I think we've done a bit of, and I'm normally
Oh
guilty for
no,
this, is trying to think of everything we will eventually want, but we need to be a
current.
bit more iterative. I think.
Yeah, true. Let's see how the current one works. Then we'll decide. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thanks.
it's all good. It's all good. It's good to catch up and go through it, man. It's always interesting to me. I like getting into it. Um.
Yeah.
Okay, we will have another Cattenburg, not in a month then, like you said, a smaller one. Maybe if we aim
Yeah.
for 2 weeks,
Yeah. Sure.
if that could work. Yeah, we'll try. I can even do it. I'm not. I don't know what I'm doing on my stream schedule at the moment.
Yeah. No.
I'm
No.
still meant to do Mondays, but I don't know what content I'm meant to be doing at the moment other than AHA. So maybe I can do it on those like every
Uh.
other week or something as well.
Yeah. And also we have. Is it 27th? Yeah. We have it here. Yes.
Yes, so that's this Thursday, I assume. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So okay, cool. Well, we'll have a catch up and we'll arrange another session anyway. All right.
Okay. Have a nice one,
Okie
man.
dokie. Right, thanks for joining me today. A
Bye-bye.
pleasure, as always.